Oop, okay. The screen's gonna flash for a bit. I'm really sorry to everyone. There we go. Okay. Alright. Let's get going. The weekly, it looks really good. Okay. I started binge. Yeah, I also have been binge listening to True and On. I've been going through like when I try to fall asleep, I listen to their coverage on the Ghislaine Maxwell case, like how it was there. You know what I mean? Which was really good. They were releasing an episode every single day. Yeah, they've got it's really interesting. I love True and On. Okay. Get in it. I'm gonna press play and I'll be back in a second. I just want to go get myself an ice lolly because it's hot.
Chemical restraints against children by schools that benefit.
I'm gonna go back a little bit.
There's a reason these programs are in out-of-the-way places. Oftentimes, behavioral modification facilities will be the biggest industry in a town, or even an entire county. CEDU alone employed hundreds in Bonner County, giving them well-paying jobs in what was termed the educational field. On the Montana-Idaho border, where the Monarch School was located, there's a cluster of schools with hundreds of children. Some of the towns around the schools have fewer than 200 people living in them. The schools provide a huge economic boon to the area. There have been attempts at the federal level to regulate behavioral modification programs and the troubled teen industry, but almost all have died on the vine, facing stiff opposition from GOP lawmakers with ties to the industry. Congressman George Miller introduced the Stop Child Abuse in Residential Programs for Teens Act in 2007, which would allow federal regulation of wilderness programs, boot camps, therapeutic boarding schools, and behavior modification programs aimed at adolescents, and would prohibit many of the more egregious acts of punishment these programs employ. They'd also mandate inspection every 2 years. Congress rejected it, over and over, most recently in 2017. The bill was precipitated by the famous, and I believe only, report by the Government Accountability Office, or GAO. Other bills that would prohibit the use of seclusion, physical or chemical restraints against children by schools that benefit from federal education money have also died. States where the schools are located aren't usually keen to pass any oversight laws either. The large tax base and the jobs that the schools bring in are usually more than enough to keep regulators silent. There's only 2 men tasked with overseeing every school in Idaho, which contains a huge number of facilities.
The school owners, too, seek to combat regulation. A headline in the Missoulian reads, 12 years, 58 complaints, 0 sanctions at Montana residential programs.
Thank you, 34MKD50 for the 50 tier 1 gifties. Holy moly, sorry, I was AFK grabbing myself an ice lolly. Thank you. Yep. For those joining now, or for those that have just gotten a gift and jumped in, we are listening to True and On and playing some Super Auto Pets. Get into play Super Auto Pets with us, alright? You can see the room name is LB1, alright? And we're just going to be listening to True and On. We're finishing off this podcast on the game. It's about the troubled teen industry and how fucked up it is, and how it all came from. Where did it come from in the first place, you know? Anyway, let's continue.
The article, by Seaborn Larson and Lucy Tompkins, details how Montana regulators wanted legal power to monitor the massive number of residential programs in the state. But school owners got there first, putting their own bill forward through Representative Paul Clark, a Democrat who is also the owner of Galena Ridge, which the Missoulian describes as a residential therapeutic facility for teenagers.
Okay, Daravik.
Instead of any kind of regulatory body that deals with children or education, the bill assembled a board composed of residential school owners and put them in charge of regulating the industry. At a hearing for the bill, Patrick McKenna of the Monarch School, quote, cautioned that media exploitation of specific incidents often causes a state to overreact with legislation that is not well thought out and does not fit the needs of the industry. The bill that was passed exempted Monarch and several other schools owned by board members from oversight because they were licensed through trade organizations. I remember no inspections during my time at Monarch. There's at least a half dozen of these trade organizations throughout the country. All of them were founded and are run by the owners of the schools. They all purport to have high standards, but absolutely no requirement for the schools to actually meet those standards, zero enforcement mechanisms, and no way to discipline any offenders. They put out journals and commissioned studies in order to make the schools look good. The Missoulian quotes one as saying, "We cherish autonomy. We can
Anyone
act
else for SAP? We can
unfettered by
start soon.
boards or
In a minute.
trustees
In
or
1 minute.
elected officials."
Very few of the people who run these schools are ever brought before a judge. One exception is Ben Train, the owner of Midwest Academy, a WASP school, who was charged with sexual assault of a minor, sexual exploitation of a minor by a counselor, and child
If we're
endangerment.
waiting for you, then
He was
say so in the
accused of
chat,
buying
otherwise I'm
female
gonna
students'
start.
lingerie and making them model underwear for him as part of, quote,
Oh my
body
God.
image therapy. He was convicted, but almost no one else has been.
Bro, like, all of these motherfuckers are insane. Like, that's the thing, is like that sort of stuff must be rampant in those camps. Like, it's literally, like, you don't need to be regulated. Bro. And you can't contact your parents. Can you imagine how bad, like, the sexual abuse must be? Anyway.
But remember Dundee
We're starting.
Ranch from earlier? Its owner, Narvin Litchfield, the brother of WASP founder Robert Litchfield, was arrested and charged by authorities in Costa Rica after a girl was able to make it home, telling her parents of the abuse at the facility, and how children were forced to sign declarations saying everything was fine or else be sent to an even worse place in Jamaica. 3 judges declared him innocent of all charges. They could not prove he ordered the abuse. Narvin was released. He went on to own Seneca Ranch, which was on the site of Carolina Springs Academy, a WASP school that had previously been shut down. He's been in the business ever since. As you can imagine, going through these programs inflicts deep psychological wounds on children. These kids aren't just emotionally abused. At many facilities, it's physical too. There are numerous reports of children beaten and restrained, of sexual abuse and forced drug use. Kids are subjected to pain, humiliation, intimidation, ridicule,
Insane.
threats of unusual punishment, and interference with basic living functions like eating, sleeping, and going to the bathroom. At Elan School, boxing was used as a so-called form of therapy, where students were forced to box each other with gloves and everything, until one of them was finally knocked out or forced to give up. One man was found guilty of murder based on a confession he gave in the ring at Elan. Michael Skakel was in the boxing ring at Elan when he confessed to murdering his neighbor Martha, a confession he says he gave to make the beatings stop. Afterwards, Michael was forced to wear a sign for 6 weeks that said, "I am an arrogant rich brat, confront me on why I killed my friend Martha." The confession was then used to convict him of the murder, though it was obviously obtained through force. In 1998, Mr. Skakel wrote that while he was at Elan, quote,
Insane, dude.
"I was subjected to a level of torture deemed unacceptable even for prisoners of war." A lawyer for Elan told the New York Times, quote, "People who fought in wars have nightmares too. Some wars are worth fighting."
My word.
Some children are sent to timeout rooms, basically isolation chambers. Kids spend hours and hours in 4x4 storage closets, sometimes even dog cages. At Tranquility Bay, one student reached a record. She spent 18 months in solitary confinement. Oftentimes,
Go
restraints
mad.
are
You
used.
go mad.
Over 70 kids have died specifically due to the use of physical restraints at these facilities. The use of restraints varies. For some, it was being forced face down on the ground with 3 or 4 or maybe 6 adults on top, 2 at the arms, 1 on the legs, and at least 1 with their knee in a child's back, smashing the tiny body into the floor. For others, it meant duct tape wrists behind backs, or duct tape mouths, eyes, and ears. Some were wrapped burrito style in a blanket, so tight they would scream and start hyperventilating. One victim was restrained over 250 times, with 2 of those restraints lasting each time over 12 hours. That child died in the program.
Insane.
Given the lack of oversight and regulation, coupled with the fact that these facilities are often extremely remote, insular, and opaque, not to mention rake in a lot of money for a lot of people at the local, county, and state level, it is difficult to put together exactly how many kids have died. One blog has accounted for at least 185 dead children. The GAO tried to put together a comprehensive list during their 2007 investigation into the industry. They couldn't. There just isn't any agency comprehensively collecting names, or cases, or allegations, or statistics. These kids, even in death, fall through the cracks.
The GAO did look at a few of the deaths that had been reported. Of the cases they looked at, causes of death included dehydration, heat stroke, acute infection resulting from a perforated ulcer, severed artery, massive head trauma, hyperthermia, and suicide. 15-year-old Phil Newell from the infamous Elon School died from a brain aneurysm. After complaining to the staff that he had a headache, he was forced into the therapeutic boxing ring and severely beaten by other teenagers. He collapsed, spasmed on the mat, and turned blue. Eventually, staff members dragged him away.
Insane.
He was dead within a day. One kid killed himself 6 days into his program. He was sent to boarding school after being diagnosed with clinical depression and making multiple suicide attempts. He was having trouble in school, and the parents, in consultation with their child's psychiatrist, were recommended an educational consultant to help them find a school that could be more sensitive to their son's problems. The consultant told the family that they specialized in matching troubled teens with appropriate treatment programs and quickly recommended a $23,000 West Virginia boarding school. In the first phase, a survival training session, the child deliberately cut himself 4 times from wrist to elbow using a pocket knife that was issued him by the school. After cutting himself, the kid ran to a counselor and showed them what he did, crying and begging the staff member to take away the knife so he couldn't hurt himself again. He pleaded with the counselor to call his mother and tell her he needed to come home. The staff member then pulled the crying.
And the thing is, the mother, because we listened to this before, I said a little bit of this. Like, the mother was told that this was a good place for her son to go, her son who was suicidal, you know what I mean? And it was just a lie, like, it's disgusting what these places do, all for, like, money making as well. Hello, leftist fascist.
Bloody child aside, spoke with him, and, after eliciting a promise that he would never hurt himself again, gave the knife back to the kid. The next day, the owner of the program and a counselor visited the campsite. During this visit, the field staff recounted the self-inflicted injury and how the child begged for help not to hurt himself. The owner told the field staff to ignore him, that he was being manipulative in an attempt to be sent home. That night, the child hanged himself. The school waited 4 hours to notify the family about the suicide. When the owner of the program finally called the parents, according to the father, the owner said there was nothing we could do.
All right, so Brace.
Why can't I get that?
Yeah.
We're sitting here at the old Best Western in Pend Oreille, Idaho.
That we are, yeah.
And I think that maybe we should backtrack a little bit and talk about how we got here. Because basically, we've been working on the series for
A while.
And in the kind of middle of that, we took a little vacation.
Yes.
And then we came back, and the 3 of us had a conversation where you basically said, okay, I've got an idea for how we end this series.
Yeah, well, it's...
Sorry guys, I know this is really intense. It's
so
just the thing is, it's like...
when we took a...
The thing is, it's like, it's just... Like, this is... Like, we've watched the entire series. We sort of have to finish it, you know what I mean? So I understand if it's really intense. We will get onto community music, but, like, I do want to finish it, you know what I mean?
break or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I went a little nuts during that time. I did not go far from my home. I was, because I got a little, I get with this kind of stuff. And we're kind of working our way through like the episodes, and I'm dealing with more like getting more to like the present day stuff, like the troubled teen industry stuff. And I remember from when we did that episode a long time ago, the Paris Hilton one, I had these notes on Monarch and Patrick and stuff. But I really like, there was like something missing. I didn't really, there's like not a lot on the guy, like he kind of disappeared after the school closed in 2017, because he got sued by a bunch of parents, ended up having to pay out about $1 million. Looks like he was siphoning funds off. In fact, it's almost assured that he was siphoning funds off. Having these board meetings in Hawaii with just the board of like his wife. And like, and eventually like even after the school closed, like just like stole, like, took all the vehicles and all that kind of stuff. Use it as a piggy bank essentially. And kind of like really went under the radar, like low profile after that. And so I was, I don't want to burn nobody, but there's a person I had read some work by who had done some writing about Patrick, like a real, not a wingnut, like a real legit person. And I emailed them, and I'd emailed them before when we did that other episode, but I gave it another shot. I'm an incessant emailer sometimes. And really just like an hour later, he writes me back, and he gives me this like 40-page PDF, all this stuff. And I'm like, incredible. I start looking at fucking satellite images. I start kind of looking how this guy's been living, looking at his properties. I mean, the guy owns a lot of property, he owns a lot of property, and expensive real estate. And about an hour after I get that email with all of Patrick's information in it, I get a Facebook message, and 32, not on Facebook very often. But there's like survivors, they call themselves survivors groups, which, of different kinds, including from Monarch that's on there. And I was sort of looking for stuff on the school one on Patrick. So I'm logged into Facebook on my computer, and I get a message from this lady. And she's like, hey, I'm a producer for 60 Minutes Australia. Do you know how I can get in touch with Patrick McKenna? This is an hour after I get the fucking initial dump of Patrick McKenna's stuff. So naturally, I think this guy must have told her to get in contact with me. Maybe he's laundering it through me, whatever, happy to do it. And I asked her, I was like, did anyone tell you to contact me? She's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, nobody told you to message me. And she's like, no, we're working on this. If you Google Patrick McKenna Monarch School, the first thing that comes up is your podcast, because I tweeted about him. And she's like, yeah, I'm just at work right now. And I talked to her for a long time, and all the while I'm like, what an astounding kind of coincidence, like that this is within an hour of each other. Like, I don't spend every day thinking about this guy or nothing, like I had just started really to do like delve into some research on him, and then both of these things happen like that.
And you're a big Jung guy, right? Yeah.
I think it's important. And some people go a little crazy with this stuff.
Is it synchronicity?
Yeah, I'm just like, if these things happen, it doesn't necessarily mean something, but it means you should look for something, right? Or like, to me at least, I'm like, it indicates that like that you're tapped in to some kind of unconscious there, right? And not to get too funky with it, I'm not literally thinking like I'm talking to the unconscious. I'm just like, well, that's certainly an astounding coincidence that I should pay attention to. And that night, I go out and I see my buddy Will's band. It's kind of playing some sort of punk music, I guess, at this bar. And I'm walking out with my buddy Walker and to smoke a cigarette, and this girl sort of walking in, and we make eye contact, and I'm like, she looks familiar, and she kind of does that like squigged up face too, like, oh, this person looks familiar, but I'm like, I guess I can't place it. And I go outside and I'm smoking a cigarette. She comes out and she's like, I don't think you remember me, but we knew each other when we were like 13, my twin and I. And we remember when you got sent away to Monarch. And I was like, how'd you know I went to Monarch? And then she's like, yeah, because when you ran away, my sister and I, we got kidnapped, and my twin sister, went to Monarch. And I gotta tell you, this happening one day for me, like this really like blew my shit out. I'm like shaking smoking this cig. Not really, but internally shaking. My blood is hot. And I ask her about it. I'm like, oh my God, like I need to talk to your sister, because her sister and I are like our overlap was like, if I had been there for like a month later, she would have been there at the same time as me. Like really just like traded. And her sister ran too, and also made it out. And so this like really fucking blew my mind. And I'm walking that night. I tend to walk a lot, and I'm walking. I'm thinking like, what does this mean? Like really I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which is putting my thumb into the palm of the opposite hand and really rubbing it. In fact, I have a callus now because of that. But and I think, oh my God, well, Patrick McKenna is the linkage of all of this, right? Like none of these conversations would have happened without Patrick McKenna. And I should go talk to him and maybe ask him a couple questions about some of this stuff.
So from what I understand, Patrick McKenna would have been like the runner, the person who ran Monarch then? Like the adult who ran Monarch, the troubled teen plays. That's from what I understand. And
so, you know, you both were immediately amenable to it, which was very nice. And you know, when we planned this out, a private detective friend of the show helped with some other information, and some other sources did as well. And so now I get to introduce the two of you to beautiful Sandpoint or Bonner County, Idaho. As you can see, it's very dark and smoky out there because these fucking fires. And I mean, I think there's really nothing else to do but get out there and go talk to him.
Wow, Fennel.
On the next episode of The Game, The Story of Synanon, The Return. This series is produced by TrueAnon. Exclusive episodes available at patreon.com/TrueAnonPod. Your hosts are Liz Franzak and Brace Belden. The music was written and recorded by me, Young Chomsky. See you next time.
Episode 4, so we're on the last part now, and then we'll do some community music, Suika and stuff like that afterwards. Yeah. And then editing, basically, I'm going to put all of those TikToks that I downloaded into the editing, and we're going to decide what we want to keep, because I will have to, like, edit the TikToks as well. Because I just downloaded way too many.
Hi, Brace.
Hello, Liz.
So, when you were 14, you were kidnapped in the middle of the night and taken to this school.
Tears Money surviving.
Troubled teen school, Monarch, where you and so many other kids were subjected to all kinds of abuse. And years later, you found out that this school was directly descended from Synanon, and that you and others were thrown into a form of attack therapy called the Game. And now a couple months ago, you tracked down some information about the guy who started the school, Patrick McKenna, and we went to Idaho to go find him. So now that we're back home, I guess, you know, what I really want to know is, did you get what you wanted? Did you have enough coffee?
I did. Yeah, 2 cups.
I think I did. Is that enough for you?
Yeah, I've been cutting back. You know, I was going a little crazy there for a second with the coffee.
Really?
Yeah, but that's you know, you don't want to be jittery all day.
You had one the other afternoon, and I feel like it gave you a little spark.
Yeah,
I would say you, before we like got here, when we were kind of like planning some of this stuff out, you were like, I don't know what I'm gonna be like in the morning, like saying you're gonna be all groggy and like sleepy, and you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
It's true. Actually, last night, so usually I take, and you guys know this, but I have to take medication to sleep, which makes you practically useless for much of the next morning. Not usually, but oftentimes I do. I stay up until like 3 or 4 in the morning most nights, not on purpose. Just kind of reading in bed.
I shouldn't have sold the...
But last night, out like a light, and woke up really energetic this morning. Yeah. And it's funny. Everyone I talk to is like, "Are you nervous? Are you nervous?" I actually don't. Maybe I will coming up, but I don't feel nervous at all right now.
Not at all?
No.
What do you feel?
Good. I feel incredible right now, actually, which is maybe not like a healthy response.
Why do you think
to
that
this. I don't know. I feel like maybe that's like not treating it with the gravitas it deserves, or like. But no, I feel no matter what happens, I feel good. You know.
What do you think? What do you think that some of those, like, you know, options of what could happen? Like, what do you think's on the table here?
Well, I think there's 3 options, really. The number one, most likely one, is that he does not answer his door. There's no one home at the pickleball court, which I've gazed at many times from satellite view.
I still don't know what that is.
Just found out what it was like a month ago. I guess there's an island where rich people just play pickleball off.
But where is it?
I don't know. I'm assuming
tennis?
They're all variations of tennis. Badminton, just mini tennis. Handball.
I feel like calling badminton mini tennis is like disrespectful to both badminton and tennis.
That's fine.
Badminton, mini
Also, because
tennis.
it's got extendo.
I don't know.
Okay, so you think he couldn't? I
think he might not be home.
Okay.
We're going there. Yeah, I mean, we're making our initial pass on a Saturday afternoon. Who the fuck is home on a Saturday afternoon? You know, it's beautiful Idaho where there's so many things, so many trails to go down. So he might not be home, which would be the. In my head, the most likely. I mean, it's the worst. It's the worst one to happen. So I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
Damn.
That's the worst one that could happen. You think?
Yeah.
Well done,
I know,
Tia.
but yeah, it is to me.
Insane.
Number 2 is that he's home, but he's not willing to talk, which I get, right? Like, I'm a guy who has spent his entire life in these programs. The last public news about me is that I stole a bunch of money from the program. I siphoned a bunch of money out of the program that I owned. Was sued for $1 million. Fucking my shit closed.
So you're talking about Patrick. You're not Brace.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm being Patrick. That's how he talks. Okay. Yeah. So like, you know, it's you know, he's really like a huge chapter of his life ended with him.
This is part of the True Anon, the game series. We're on episode 5. Yes, the last one.
Him. Not only speeding on the ideals that he, you know, by hook or by crook tried to implant into a bunch of kids for decades, but he himself was supposedly a true believer of, you know, integrity, honesty, standing up for yourself, being a man, you know, this sort of like this self-actualized, contained man. You know, he wasn't able to do that, and so if I was him, I would not give an interview because I wouldn't want to address any of that. You know, it's better to hide like a dog. Episode. Look at this fucking podcast brain. Option 3 is that he does want to talk, and I have some questions for him. And I'd like to answer. You know, I'd like him to answer those questions. I just don't know. I don't know if he would. A lot of these guys not really great at. I mean, you know, you spend your whole life in these groups and in these sort of like these like contained societies with the you know, the stated purpose of making children or adults, whatever, into honest people. It actually ends up having the opposite effect, and you actually become like an expert sort of chameleon and a better liar than almost anybody else on earth, and able to evade the truth and evade having to tackle the hard issues. And that's really what this teaches a lot of people. And so Patrick is 100% an expert.
Wow,
in that.
TM.
So
Well done.
asking him questions might be useless, and I'm not interested in. I don't know what he could tell me in some ways that, like, factually that
You did last
I
night?
wouldn't
Okay, we
know.
can
I
have a
mean,
look
there's
at
probably
it.
a few things about Sea-Doo that would be interesting to learn, but like, and I'm not interested in him having this like contrite. Public, like apology or anything like that. I mean, I do think he should apologize, but
Apologize to you.
yeah, I think he should apologize to
Really?
me. Yeah, more than that, apologize to everybody else who did that.
What would you want him to say? Like, what would be
My fantasy.
Yeah, or like, what's the best? Like, best isn't the right word, but like, what is the outcome where, like, say he does talk to you and say
Yeah.
that he is like not doing his, Sea-Doo mental jujitsu or whatever you're saying, the kind of like dodging of whatever that he's learned in these programs. Like, what does that sound like? What does that look like to you? Like him being actually frank.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I've probably run through this fantasy an embarrassing number of times. Not really the fantasy of apologizing, but the fantasy of confrontation. I think him, this is not going to make me sound like a good person, but I
It's
want
literally
him
just this.
to humiliate
Wow.
himself in front of me, prostrate himself. I want him to act like he forced thousands
Insane.
of
Well done,
kids to act.
Tiamani.
You know what I mean? I mean, there's one thing that, like, in like the insights and stuff,
Get in.
one of the big things that we'd have to do, one that I really remember doing is that, like, there's one where you're kind of like, I think it's on your hands and knees, and you have to scream at the ground like, it's something like, I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to live, over, like over and over and over and over. And naturally, like, whether you believe that or not, I did believe I deserved to live, but you repeat these things over and over. You have to scream it at the ground. It's like it's really degrading. And I remember that, and I remember thinking, like, while it was happening, like, who would make like a child do this, because even if the point was to be like, no, like, you do deserve to live, like, that's not what I got out of it. That's not what anyone got out of it. For the first time in my life, I was on my hands and knees, like a dog, and screaming that, like, basically that I thought I should die, and I guess if you want to know what my actual fantasy is here, I mean, this is, again, like, not really attached to reality. I want this. I want Patrick on his fucking hands and knees, meaning it with every fucking cell in his body, screaming at the ground, I don't deserve to live.
You said that he went through the program, so do you think that he's already done that?
Oh, he has done that, yeah, and it worked on him. It worked on him, and so, like, that's the thing too. Is like, I tend to. It's actually kind of hard for me to hold grudges against people.
Yeah.
I always think, like, everybody's got some, like, I don't know how to explain this well, but, like,
So I'm just
even people I've
doing a little bit of
hated,
cleaning while
I'm always like,
everybody
well,
gets
there's
in.
like some, like, tender part of them that only, like, they may not grant anybody access to it ever, but, like, there's some sort of, like, core of a person in them, or
Well,
like
I think that's like, if you can see that in yourself, you can see it in other people. That's the goal, right?
Yeah. But he's a true believer,
Is he?
Well, ostensibly he is, or he was at one point, right? And I've been actually, like, while we've been doing this entire thing, like, I've been thinking, like, would I just want to be like, it's okay, like, would when you're mad at somebody and then they start crying and you're like, oh man, like, I'm sorry, like, you feel bad and you're like, I I don't want to make you do that. Even if they did something wrong. I don't, that like feeling towards empathy that I think, I cannot think of really another example of this. I probably could if I tried, but off the top of my head, I can't really think of another example of this. Where it's like, if he started like blubbering or something, you know, weeping, begging for forgiveness, like, it's like, I don't have that empathy for him.
Yeah.
Like,
I was going to say, calling this a grudge seems to be like kind of belittling the relationship and the stakes.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
It doesn't seem sufficient for describing kind of what we're doing here.
yeah, it's great. Like, if I ran one of these, I mean, I don't know. If I ran one of these things, or like,
I made like millions of dollars off of
millions
it.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to his, like, whatever, 6-bedroom fucking house. He's
Sure.
got a fucking pickleball court.
Whatever that means.
You know? I know. But, like, I would be terrified that, like, something from... I as Brace, like, I'm scared of my few things from my past coming back to, you know, like people I've
Right.
wronged when I was a teenager, like coming back to hurt me. This is not, you know what, like the meatball guy that would try to beat me up in high school is going to come back and get me. That was actually after high school, but like I would be terrified of somebody, you know, coming out of my past to confront me with this stuff.
Yeah. There's a fourth option that you didn't mention, which is that he does answer the door and has absolutely no idea who you are.
Yeah. I it's funny, I don't expect him to actually remember who I am.
You don't?
It's 18 years ago, you know?
Yeah.
If I had sired a child in the week that I left, then that kid would now be smoking Marbs. Actually, it's 21 now, I think, to smoke, which is crazy.
Wait,
But,
really?
Yes, you have to be 21 to smoke cigs. Isn't that fucked up?
When did that happen?
I don't know. but
Damn, that's crazy.
I know. It's you're hearing living proof that none of us are pedophiles. Yeah, I mean, he might just be like, I mean, I you know, there was one thing, I got an easy to remember name, right? Both a blessing and a curse, but like Brace is not, it's an unusual first name, Brace Belden, I think.
Yeah, it's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, but it's like, there's not a lot of, it's not like, you know, John Glenn. Well, I guess that's
a pretty...
That's a famous
You've
one.
literally
but you know
just
what I mean? Like, if
remembered
you, yeah, okay, I did remember that, but like, fine, Mark Kelly, other astronaut. I'm just really going on the astronaut thing here, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's an unusual name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not.
And
Anyone else for SAP?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we talked about this. Remember, we were like, do we go up there as reporters or journalists or whatever? Or do we go up there? You know, I say I'm Brace. I'm a student at the Monarch School. I mean, what do you think I should do?
I mean, I think you should be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind
Start
of
the
what
damn
we're here to
game,
do,
okay.
right? And honesty begets honesty. So,
Yeah.
or theoretically.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree
Exactly,
with
Super
that,
Dark
but
Void.
I do think that's probably the best. I think I should be honest. It's funny because like I revert really into like rat mode with these guys. It's like I don't need to be honest with them, you know, but I should be. Because
Well, yeah, I think that you're also trained in that
The
same
meme?
jujitsu, right?
Oh,
The question
okay.
is like,
yeah,
I don't know if that's what needs to be deployed right now.
yeah. No, I mean that's
pouting
the funny
mouths.
thing is like I'm actually trained a little differently in it because I
Yeah, of course.
my thing is I
As a reflection,
I did
as
like
a negative.
yeah,
it's
I did like an
different.
anti-program.
Totally.
But like, so I'm actually a bad liar. Unless it's like something stupid, you know, like that's the story I would, you know, the LA story I would tell. But I really can be convincing about funny, stupid lies, but really if it matters, I can't.
I know.
I can't at all. And so, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. It's just be, I don't know how the fuck what I'm going to introduce you guys as. These are my cousins. They have hard of hearing. That's why we have these microphones. No, you're my lawyer. You're my bodyguard. Yeah, I think that's like, I'm just going to say like, hey, you know, my name's Brace Belden. I was a student at Monarch School about 18 years ago. these are my colleagues. We work for a news organization. We can't say TrueAnon.
I don't think you need to say anything.
Okay.
Just say, these are my colleagues, and I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Yeah. And, he's going to ask, who do you work for? And I'll be like, we're self-employed. And we'll see what happens. Yeah. But I don't think, as far as I know, I've talked to a lot of kids, very much adults now, who went to the program both with me and afterwards. And as far as I know, as far as I can tell, nobody has seen Patrick in the 5 years or so since the school closed. He hasn't contacted anybody, thank God. And it doesn't look like anyone's really tried, at least as far as I know, to contact him. And so I think really, like, if you want, and this is pretty juvenile, I'll be honest with you guys, like, this is not, I know this is not making me sound cool or good or whatever, but I think a lot of times something that what governs just as much as the guilt, what governs my life is that, like, a lot of times I've seen people that get away with, like, murder, basically. You know what I mean? People who do fucking outrageous, like, inhuman things to other people and are just, like, not only do they live afterwards, but they live well. They have fucking 6 fucking bedroom houses and fucking pickleball courts. And nothing, like, I think like my sort of terminal uniqueness here, I think that the one good character trait I really do know about myself is, like, I will go to your house. Like, I'm gonna knock on your door, like, even if nobody else will. And I'm gonna see if you want to come outside and have a little conversation. So, even if he's not there, I got a plan B. But yeah, I don't know. Should we get going?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we drive out from Spokane to Sandpoint. And so the background to this entire trip, to be clear, is there are all these wildfires happening basically within the region. And Sandpoint itself forms like a little bowl where the smoke gathers. And so during our entire time in Sandpoint, I would say the air was thick, was choked with smoke. Which is an uncomfortable environment to be in. But it's a town of about 7,000 people. Pretty wooded. It's a small town, close-knit community in a county of, I think, only about 45,000 people total. And so, our first lead there, which is our most promising lead that we'd gotten from a couple of different sources, was that Patrick lived on Destiny Lane. And I knew about Destiny Lane because I talked to a lot of kids who had finished the program, and there's some ceremony there right before you finish the program. They take you up to his house, like, as a group. And so this was a spot familiar to a lot of people. So Destiny Lane is at the end of this like gated community, kind of up on this mountain outside of Sandpoint. We looked there first.
The fuck is this? Invited guests only?
Is that so? Well, I think we're okay.
Oh, private road, no trespassing.
No, these are both private roads. But we're not doing anything. We're all good. We're just going to ask a guy I know a few questions. A friend of mine.
So we were like driving up this really windy road, and the grade kind of keeps increasing and increasing. It's like steeper and steeper and windier and windier. And I have to say that it felt very on point that it was called Destiny Lane. Like, it felt like we were driving up, literally up destiny to our destiny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt cosmic.
Yeah.
So we get to the top of the road, and there's this house. There's a car in the driveway. And we get out. We're all mic'd up. We're ready to go. We kind of walk along the right side of the house to the front door. and we knock.
Howdy.
Hi, how are you?
Is Patrick McKenna here?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
Oliver, thank you for the raid.
You
had a great stream. Thank you. I hope you had a really good stream. Weeb Gamer Raid, top 10 Valo Gamer Raid. Okay, we're listening to True Anon.
We bought the house from 4.5, almost 5 years.
Oh my God. Sorry for bothering. Do you know where he's at?
I don't. He was in town. He bought another lot here at one point.
Bro, I
think
just
he
want a
sold it,
fucking
so-
Okay.
Oh, I
camel.
have no good info for you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Appreciate it. No problem. You have a beautiful dog, by the way, and a beautiful house. Thanks.
Thank
guys.
you.
See you later. Have a good day.
I just want a camel, dude.
So, obviously, not him. We spend the rest of the day following up on various leads that we had in Sandpoint, all of which come to nothing, before deciding to make a night call to a house that we had traced him to in a little town called Dover.
Oh, look at those emotes.
This is it.
This is it?
Yeah, this is it. I don't know where Liz is.
Right there.
I mean, unless I'm mistaken, but that's 461. This does not look inhabited. I'll tell you that.
This is it?
This, I mean,
Hi, Tamana.
if I'm lying, I'm dying, but 461.
Yeah.
The address you gave me was 461, so.
It's pitch black. Doesn't look like anyone's home.
Well, you might as well ring the doorbell, which is
It's my
precisely
culture. I'm not
what I'm
Afrikaans,
doing
dude.
now.
You sending me something from r/Afrikaans?
Yeah, I have, every house we've been to has had some kind
So
of
no,
car in the
it's not my
driveway, but
culture.
no-
I'm not Afrikaans.
What that means, I don't know, but
So it is
this
wat
is
lekker kamp
not
by die
feeling a lot of
dam.
life
I don't.
in this house right now.
I don't have good vibes here. So no one was there. It's pitch black out. This little community that we're in is like pretty sleepy. There's something eerie about it.
Yeah.
It was like a bit of a kind of like not, it wasn't totally gated, but it was like a little sleepy development along a lake.
I'm going to say this. There's boat people.
Yes.
I don't like boat people.
Yeah, I don't like boat people either. But we did see, like a couple houses down, that some neighbors were out having a little bonfire. And there was like a bunch of them. It was,
on, I have to change my
it was like
headphones
football had just
over.
started. A lot of people were out kind of celebrating. And we saw a bunch of people outside and we said, hey, let's go talk to them. Did you see the people over there having a barbecue or whatever?
Yeah, they look. Should we ask them?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ask them.
So, despite us emerging from the shadows, at first they were pretty friendly.
Is there a neighbor? Is there a guy who lives near here named Patrick?
Hold on, let me just quickly change my headphones over. Untangle these. I don't know why these get so tangled. Sorry. Open it though, it's very funny. Yeah, I did. Bro, I'm getting owned in this sap. Okay, let's continue.
Kenna, like 461.
Babe, landlight it real quick. We'll find this.
What the hell is Landlight?
It's just a place where we know who owns everything.
No way.
Wait, really?
Right now.
What is
Just an
it?
app.
Oh, cool.
Like,
You really want me to look
are,
it up?
yeah, absolutely.
But then they became a little suspicious.
Are you
Yeah.
podcasting? What is happening?
We so it's such an insane story.
And finally, the situation got a little uncomfortable.
A rehab that turned into a cult in the
I feel
80s.
like we need to end this, guys. You're at the wrong spot.
Absolutely.
That's all right.
Why did Brace tell them the whole story, dude? You didn't have to talk about it being a cult in the 80s and then became a fucking... Bro, Brace, why did you tell them the whole story, dude? You just could have been like, no, we're just looking for this guy. We used to know he used to run like these child camps, like, you know, for troubled teenagers. Bro,
Thank you guys so much.
All
for help.
good. Thank you.
So one of the things
fuck
we
is he
did know was
doing,
that
dude?
Patrick was a member at this club, country club, called the Idaho Club. A very, exciting name. And we had stopped by the day before, and we hadn't seen him. But we did see his name on a plaque. It was like 2019 golf champion.
men's club champion.
Yes, men's club champion. And I swear to God, guys, this is true. Their men's golf champion. What was it?
Well, I would think it was a championship, but their little tournament, yeah.
Okay. Their tournament was happening this weekend that we were there. So we called ahead, do a little recon, and make sure it wouldn't be weird if we stopped by.
Thanks for calling the Idaho Club. Please dial 1 for real estate, dial 2 for the pro shop, and dial 3 for the restaurant. Morning, Idaho Club pro shop. This is Don.
Hi, good morning. I have a question. We're coming in from out of town. We saw you guys are having a championship today, a tournament. We were wondering if we can come by and just watch, right? If that's cool?
Yeah, I suppose you could. It's just a club championship. Nothing very special, but, it's got about, 36 players, something like that in it.
Liz also said one of the funniest things I've ever heard her say.
They'll do a ceremony, hand out trophies, money, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, money. Wow, cool. So we roll up to the Idaho Club.
Wow, cool.
I gotta say, none of us felt very comfortable here.
I had never been to a country
money,
club
wow,
before.
cool.
Yeah, I don't think I had either.
And I gotta say, I was thoroughly unimpressed. It was
That's so funny.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, there was something sinister about it. There's a huge, so you
Yeah, we
drive
can
off
make that
the
a voice
highway
command.
and, you enter and there's a little guardsman who's checks you in and is like, what are you here for? And we're like, we're here for the restaurant. Okay, proceed. And we drive up, turn right on the little street, and there's a huge lodge. And that's where the restaurant and the bar is. And then behind the lodge are all of the courses.
Yeah, it was it was sort of weird because there was this giant cavernous dining room that I did not ever see a single person that was not a member of our
What
party
is life like
dining
on
in.
Bitch Island?
Kira
I don't
Cup,
know.
thank you for the follow.
And there was this little bar next to it that they had, and then this veranda and sort of this area underneath. And from what I understood from talking to my local contacts is this was a fairly new club, this development. Maybe the club had been there for a while, but it had really been developed mostly in the past 10 years with all this sort of outside money. And I actually did overhear two people at the bar talking about oil drilling and being in the oil drilling business, which I was like, oh, that's a nice little bit of local flavor. But I will say, they didn't used to let Jews into country clubs. Be fine if they still had that rule. I never want to go to one again.
Well, like I said, we saw his name on the plaque. And we saw his wife's business card because she is, I don't know, she's
so
a realtor
funny.
for the club.
Yeah, it's all over her Instagram.
Yeah, so it was funny because we were seeing signs of them everywhere, but we didn't see him. And so, Brace, you ended up asking around.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Do you know Patrick McKenna?
Yes.
Do you know if he's here today?
I couldn't tell you, but if you go the clubhouse, if you go up the stairs right there to the main clubhouse, he might be hanging out in there.
Perfect.
I don't know if he's out on the course though either.
Yeah, that's all right, cool.
Could be, but so if he's not in the clubhouse, the pro shop is right here. You can get to it from the inside the main clubhouse. You could ask there if he's out on the course.
Perfect, appreciate it. All right, thank you, sir. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
I'm looking for a friend of mine. Do you know if Patrick McKenna is here today?
I don't remember his name being one of the guys with Todd Voorhees group, which was at 2:50, 3 o'clock.
Gotcha.
But I don't see him on this T-sheet anyway.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oh, oops, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
This glass thing.
One thing we did know, though, is that Patrick and his fucking wife are both realtors, developers, and Patrick works as a contractor as well. And so something that they do is they've built a lot of these houses that are on the grounds of the Idaho Club. Now, we spent a long time discussing amongst ourselves why you would live about 20 feet from a golf club that you were a member at. What would possess somebody to live on a golf course, essentially? And it turns out a lot of people had the same questions because most of these houses were empty. But Patrick does have a property that's in his name on the grounds of the Idaho Club. And so we paid it a visit.
No.
Howdy. Sorry. Is Patrick here?
No. They're at a wedding in Montana. They should be getting back tonight.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I'll be back later. Thanks. Appreciate
Do
it.
you know around what time?
They said early evening,
Okay.
but
Okay,
I
great.
haven't heard from them yet.
Thanks so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
So we found him. I mean, I felt this huge, I don't know how you felt, but for me, I felt this huge, crazy rush because we have been on this like little goose chase. And then there was, she confirmed. I mean, I don't know if she was a dog sitter or what, but she confirmed that they would be back later that night. They're coming back from a wedding. And so we kind of were in the car and we're like, okay, when are we coming? We gotta come back. Mm-hmm. And we're going to confront him. And I think it was funny because we were like sitting there and we're like, okay, early evening. That went to us, that's like 8 o'clock. But let's get into the mind of a late 50s, early 60-year-old. Mm-hmm. Is that 5:30? Is that 6:30? Is that 7:30?
These people eat dinner rather at around 5:30 at night. So early evening is essentially their bedtime. So that's got to be like 6:30. I think in my head, early evening ends
All right, wife.
7:30. That's like the latest you can get to early
You knocked
evening.
me
That's
out.
countryside early
Fair
evening.
enough.
And so that's when I figured sometime between maybe 6:15 and 7:30 we should expect him home.
So we drove back to the hotel and we were like, okay, let's get some food first. Because, we didn't know how long it was going to take or we didn't know what to expect. And I think also we were a little hungry. We tried to get dinner, but we're too nervous. I think we were like too anxious, a little too many ants in the pants.
Yeah, I did not think I was going to eat. So I was very ready to get out of there.
Yeah, and so we were like, you know what? Screw this. Let's just go earlier.
Yeah.
And we'll chill. Because the thing about the Idaho Club is, remember guys, we have to like go by the little, the little
gate man.
The little gateman. Mm-hmm. The little, Riddler at the
Interesting.
top.
This is how your brain processes that
Yeah.
position.
And we were a little nervous it was going to be the same guy, and we would have to kind of come up with a like, oh, we just really like the food at the Idaho Club.
I was like, this is the easiest part. We'd just be like, we love the Idaho Club.
Yeah.
It's an incredible place.
The thing
We feel
that
right
so
at home
many
here.
people say
Yeah.
all the time.
I mean, I saw probably about 30 people all told in that club for a lot of the time that we spent there. And so, we're just adding to that great, that patchwork of human experience within the grounds of the Idaho Club. But it was a different guy.
It was a different guy, so
Yeah, he did not care.
at all.
And so, we get there, I think around 6:15, and, it's still light out. As light as it can be. It's a very sort of wan sun. Like it's like, I don't know how to describe the weather, but it was like, it was smoky, I guess you could say. So we do a drive-by of the house. We notice the same car is there from earlier, which we assume is the dog sitter's car. There's been no other change. And so we decide to go look for his car in the parking lot. We know the make and model of the car. It's not there. And so we figure we will just wait and stake the place out for a while. And at this point, the sun is still in the sky. Not very high in the sky, but it's up there. And we end up sitting on the shoulder of a very, a wooded road, not a lot of houses on it. Again, like this place is still being developed, but even the houses that they have built, it seems like most of them haven't sold. And so there's maybe about 4 or 5 actually occupied houses on the block. And the block ends in a dead end, in sort of a wooded dead end. And so we're sitting in this divot on the side of the road, and the sun goes down. Now this is a private road in a gated community, and at about 8 p.m. that's when they stop serving dinner at the country club, and public access is cut off. And so we sit there and we wait for hours.
Well, it's some ungodly hour of the stakeout.
We wait. Oh, I also want some
This
more
is-
coffee.
I gotta say, the guys who do this in movies look real bored, but they have newspapers, snacks.
Well, you gotta explain what we're.
You guys want to know something really funny? My dad, like, has bought a whole bunch of, like, unroasted coffee beans and has, like, transformed a massive, big, like, glass popcorn machine, like a circular one that would stir the popcorn at the bottom. It's like slice the top of it off to put another like heater on the top that also like measures the temperature and will turn the whole thing off. And now he's using it to roast coffee beans. It's fucking insane. He's been testing the temperature with it, so like now I've got to roast the beans. He like made his own coffee roaster out of an old popcorn machine. It's insane. Anyway, so I need to like try those beans now. So I'm gonna go do that quickly. He reminds me of me. Yeah, it's insane. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. Must smell great. I'm gonna ask him where the beans are so I can make some now. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. I don't know if it's gonna be good. We'll see.
Oh yeah. So we're staking out Patrick McKenna's house in the Idaho Club gated community, country club community, whatever you want to call it. We gained access by saying we're here for dinner, and right now we're not near the country club. We're near his house, parked in a little divot on the side of the road, next to some very tall trees, waiting for his car to drive past this dark, curving road ahead of us. Yeah, so hoping they come back and feed them fucking dogs tonight they got there. If not, then we can take those dogs legally by right. They're ours. They've been abandoned by their owners for more than 6 hours.
Brace has suddenly adopted a southern accent, which none of
Well,
us can figure out why.
I think that we should. It's after dark here.
So we're sitting there. The car is getting increasingly muggy, fogged up, thick with anticipation. There's a faint and yet sometimes bright green light coming from the front seat.
This is exaggerated.
The jewel pod is illuminating in the darkness.
Yeah, it's because it's facing backwards towards you, not towards the street.
Oh my god, the flashing of your jewel light is
Okay,
not...
I'll cover it more.
Yeah, you gotta
In
cover
Syria,
that.
what we used to have to do is if you wanted to smoke a cigarette, you weren't allowed to smoke in most places because you could see the embers, and people did get shot for that. Not like by us, by the enemy. So you had to cover, like, kind of cup your hand around the ember.
My
and
dad
keep it down.
was using all the plugs in the kitchen so he could roast more coffee beans. So I couldn't grind the coffee beans to make coffee because he had everything plugged in. So I have to wait 60 minutes in order to, yeah. So anyway, we've got one of those really nice old electric grinders. So yeah, I'll wait 60 minutes then until his another roast is done. But he said it's really good. It smells really good. It's like freshly roasted as well. Teeth are nature's grinders. Okay, dude. Sure.
In your jacket, so you're smoking like that. So I gotta be really good at smoking jewel on airplanes.
Yeah, I know, roasting coffee at home, pretty serious. My dad, like, full on, like, bought an old, as I explained, he bought an old popcorn machine with, like, where it like, stirs, it's got a stirrer at the bottom. It's, like, a circular thing. It reminds me of, like, it's like a big rice cooker, basically, but it's got glass walls. And he got, like, the glass, like, cut off by someone at the top, so he could put, like, another device that's an extra heater and act like that roasts from the top as well. But the thing at the top has got a timer that's also connected to the thing at the bottom, so when it gets too hot, it turns off and then turns back on again when they cool down. So it continually, like, roasts so it doesn't go over temperature. Really fucking interesting. Anyway.
I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm in the back seat, okay? And we're sitting there, all fogged up. Young Chomsky's getting a little hot, a little heated. We're sitting there, and then I see...
Oh, sorry. Fuck. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me just go to the... Chomsky's hot. There you go. We're almost done, by the way. We've got 15 minutes left of this.
And
then we're gonna do community
we're sitting
music.
there, all fogged up. Young Chomsky's getting a little hot, a little heated. We're sitting there, and then I see down the road headlights, and a car's coming, and we're like, "Oh my God, he's coming! He's driving up. They're driving back from Montana." We see this big black it looks like an F-150 or something. It's like a huge pickup truck. I don't know. It's like bigger than the F-150 if they make that. Don't comment and tell me what that is. But it's a big truck. It's driving up. The two boys in front, they're like doing their best, like lean back, trying to get real low. Me, I'm small already, so I'm just curled up. The truck drives past us, and I turn around to watch it, and it turns to the
Rena,
right.
are you here?
And I was like, fuck.
Hold on.
Because the house is on the left. It's not him. But then the backlights change color, and the car backs up onto the left side of the street, into the driveway, and they're back. They're here.
So we wait a few minutes, we get out of the car, and we approach the house.
There's someone in there.
Whew. Knock, 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 knock.
Oh, yeah. Howdy, Patrick McKenna?
Hi, no. Sorry, I think we have a light here.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't think so. You guys might have the wrong place.
Oh, he doesn't live here?
No.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay, gotcha. 592.
Yep.
Okay. Thank
Sorry.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks anyway.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
And it wasn't them, was it?
Sorry.
No.
What is going on here?
So that wasn't his place either. Either the dog sitter, maybe she misunderstood us, maybe, I mean, who knows? A lot of things could have happened. But at the end of the day, that wasn't him that answered the door. You know, and at this point in our trip, you know, we had pursued a lot of leads. You know, we're kind of just giving you the highlights here, but we'd gone down a lot of alleys, and we were out. This was as many as we had. And you know, at this juncture, we sort of decided that it was our last recourse was just to call him on the phone. And so we go back to the hotel and sit down, and I give him a call. Hi, Patrick?
Yeah.
Howdy, this is Brace. I was a student of yours at Monarch. I don't know if you remember me. Hello? My name is Brace. I was a student of yours at Monarch in 2004. I don't know if you remember me.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I was just in Sandpoint for the night, and I was, you know, of course, been here before, and I was calling to ask you a couple questions if you have a second.
Not really. It's 8:45.
Yeah, no, I know, but, you know, all about waking people up late and all that stuff. I mean...
Oh my god! You know all about waking people up late and stuff? Bro, Brace?
It'll just take a couple seconds.
What's your question?
What's your question?
My question is, don't you think you owe me an apology?
Really, that's what you're calling me about. Have a nice night.
Hello?
He hung up. Pussy?
I'm gonna call him back.
I love Brace. It's like, I'm gonna call him back. Let's go.
Patrick, it does not seem like you wish to speak with me. I do, of course, very much would like to speak with you, but I get it, you know. It's tough to kind of come to terms with some of the stuff you've done in your life. I mean, speaking for me, I've done
Yep. Anyway, let's continue.
done a lot of bad shit in my life since I've seen you, Patrick.
Okay, chat. Come on.
Little liar, dude.
Not over a podcast. Come on. I know you have to do the one after the other, but come on. Oh god, okay. Wait, this is intense. We're listening intently. Alright.
I regret a lot of it. I've been called to account for a lot of it. And I try to work past it. I try to be a man I can be proud of. You know, one thing that I think you really taught a lot of kids, I think not in the way that you meant to, was about honesty, integrity, you know, standing up for yourself, being a human being, like a real human being. I think you taught a lot of kids that as an example of what not to do. You know, you had a really negative, malignant effect upon hundreds, probably thousands of kids, a lot of them who I've talked to.
Well,
and that's got to be hard to live with.
Son
That's got to be hard to
Farid.
deal with. That's got to be hard to, you know, sleep at night, all that kind of stuff. You know, I can't imagine what you go through. You know, I don't think I could live a day in your shoes, frankly. You know, it's tough to face it, but you know, you talked a lot about negative stories that we tell ourselves. You know, this negative self-image, all this kind of stuff, and like, you know, Patrick, if yours includes like, you know, you're a hypocrite, you're a failure, like your whole life's work, all the stuff you dedicated yourself to, I mean, it was undone by your own greed and avarice, all that kind of stuff. How what you did to these kids may not have, you know, the best effect on them. You know, I think you'd be right to worry about that stuff because I think that stuff is true. You're kind of the king hypocrite and coward, as evidenced by this. And, you know, you are, I think really at the end of the day, to sum it all up, you are a failure. Your life's work is a failure. And you'll be remembered as a bad person, you know, and by a lot of people all throughout the world and all across the country. So with that being said, Patrick, I've been thinking about you for a long time. Going to continue thinking about you for a long time. And you know, I hope you go to hell.
Sap, by the way, this will probably be the last round.
So now that
For today
we're
entirely.
back home, I guess, you know, what I really want to know is, did you get what you wanted?
I mean, so in this series, we see the failures of Chuck and of Synanon. You know, we saw the thousands of little pimps and wardens that sprung up like maggots from Synanon's corpse. We can see the victims, of which, you know, I include myself, of Synanon's legacy sort of scattered all across America. You know, it's the same story with Synanon as with a lot of other things. As you know, some people got well, some very few people got rich, some people died, you know, and a lot of people sort of just ended up wherever. You know, I ended up here, Patrick ended up in Sandpoint. And I think we've connected it. You know, so the show is a history, yeah, but it's also a catalog of the present of what I guess I think of, I don't like to think of, but I think of it as my trauma, trauma that manifests itself as guilt in every second of my life. It's the Synanon program, it's Monarch, that taught me, that imbued me with that guilt. And now I'm kind of trying to, I guess, to earn it. It's a fucked thing. Thinking back, like I was a kid and I got declared guilty. I endured imprisonment. I was punished without actually having committed, and really just being accused of a formless, nameless crime. I feel kind of now, I guess, like a child soldier with all the ruthlessness and ignorance that entails. And I think you guys have sort of seen the product of that with how I've acted. I admit that has not done wonders for my psyche. I am, like I said, I am imbued with guilt. The trauma of all that shit compounded, and it looks like I'll probably be living the rest of my life with it. But at another point, yes, I accept I am guilty. I am a guilty man in search of a crime. And my suffering thus far has been impure, and the rectification of that has been and will be impure as well. I don't think of myself as annihilating that trauma, but in a way fulfilling it. So one thing I know for sure is that nobody is untouchable. There are a lot of things that keep me up at night, a lot of them relating back to these programs. And with this, I hope to keep these guys, people who run these programs, people who made money off of these programs, people who live in these big houses with nice beds, hope it keeps them up at night too.
Giga Chad.
This series was produced by TrueAnon. Exclusive episodes available at patreon.com
What an incredible series. Holy moly.
/TrueAnonPod. Your hosts are Brace Belden and Liz Franzak. The music was written and recorded by me, Young Chomsky. The saxophone was played by Dave Fugel. Research assistance was provided by Destiny Nicole. Special thanks to Dr. Danielle Carr and Ed Opperman. This has been The Game, the story of Synanon. Thanks for listening.
Amazing. TrueAnon really makes incredible stuff. We need to listen to their podcasts more and more, you know what I mean? Wow. I loved that. That was really amazing. Okay, we're gonna be listening to some community music now and doing some sap. I can hear that my aunt has just arrived, so I'm gonna quickly go say hello to her. I'll put the music on quickly though. Let me just do it to Spotify. We're gonna do some more sap. Okay, probably 2 more rounds, this one and then 1 more, and then we're gonna do something else. So finally, I know, I'm being so bad with community music, and I apologize. It's just a... You know what it is? Like, sometimes you just have to be in, like, the mood to, like, listen to other people's music. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. Especially because, like, you know, sometimes I'm just not gonna like your music. You know what I mean? And I just feel bad. Like, I never want anybody to feel, like, terrible that I don't like their music. So I just want to make it, like, that clear. Like, if I don't like your music, it doesn't mean anything, okay? Alright? It just, like, music is such a... For example, like, Fizz and I have shared music, and we've got such different tastes. Like, you know, I've shared, like, Marina with Fizz, and he does not like Marina at all. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Maybe some Elden Ring later. Maybe. It depends on how I'm feeling. I need to get that thread done of the tunnel goal, which we're going to be doing after a few rounds of sap. Anyway. Oh wait, no, I want to play this. All right. All right, I'm going to quickly go say hello to my aunt and tell her that I'm streaming. I'll be back in a second, okay? Okay. One last sapper? Because we start now. Let's start. It's jammy. The miffed bulls. Oh, why did I do that? Oh well. I thought I had an extra ability to get, yeah. No, I got confused between with the hearts and the gold again. Silly, why did I do that? Anyway, we get wrecked. That's okay. It's deserved. When you stream, your RNG is terrible. Oh, I like this. Yeah, it's Remy Wolf. Oh, this is wonderful. Oh, about that pizza that was promised? Well, I'm gonna interrupt with one of my songs. There we go. This is your pizza. I'll just add one to the queue just of mine. There we go. It'll come next. Finally a camel, dude. Herman Cain. Such a good song. Never heard of this guy before. WizKid, Nigerian. How do you submit music? You post a Spotify link into the music tab on Discord. Yeah, we've got like 80 songs in the queue, so we'll get there. Gonna try get a chunk in it today, though. No, we've got to... I'm gonna make an effort to listen to community music more. I'm sorry. Just don't post, like, tons in one go, because that's not fair on Renner. Like, post 1 or 2. Never heard the song before. No, why did I do that? Never heard this song before. Never heard this song before. It's really good, though. Ooh. I love this. The first time I've ever heard of Mother Mother ever in my whole life. I will say one thing though, their album art is so fucking shit. Like, it's literally like, what the fuck? Anyway. Music's great though. Ooh. Okay, we need a saber for the tiger. We get rid of the lizard. And the mammoth, no, the lizard and the dart frog, yeah. Oh, just getting owned. Fuck, okay. I've never used the walrus, I should. Oh my god, it's beautiful. $34 getting 50. Thank you for the 52 on gifties. Holy moly. 34 getting 50, keeping me permanently oiled. Insane. I want all of this. But I've only got one life left. Damn. Welp, it was good while it lasted. Insane chicken. Oh, I love this. Bangladesh has joined South Africa in prosecuting Israel charges of genocide before the International Court. W Bangladesh. Let's actually have a look at all the South Africa v. Israel. Countries in support: Bangladesh, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Comoros, Cuba, Djibouti, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Libya, Malaysia, Maldives, Namibia, Nicaragua, Pakistan, Palestine, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Syria, Turkey, Venezuela, Arab League, Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Those against: Austria, Czech Republic, Germany, Guatemala, Hungary, Israel, Paraguay, United States, United Kingdom. But Belgium seems like seems to be one of the first European countries that says that they can't stand by and watch the immense human suffering. They haven't specifically joined. But yeah. Anyway. We'll wait on what Belgium finally decides. Canada rejected genocide allegations. Canada can admit to its own fucking genocides that it's done. It's all the countries that have done their own genocides. Like, Canada, Germany, really? Like... Anyway. That's good. Germany. I heard that there was a new, very progressive, political party in Germany, though, that just came about. Is like, I didn't look into it, but I just saw it. And it's got a lot of support. Like, it's a new party. I don't know. Germans in chat will know. Older members of the left? Yeah, but it seems to have gained, like, a lot of support very quickly. Anyway. I just saw something about it on Twitter. Well done, Torrin. Well, actually, no, you lost. You know, Torrin did win. Well done, Torrin. What a jam. Get in for sub. Oh, the new party is shit. Oh god, okay. Anyone else for sap? I'm gonna go to the bathroom quickly. All right. Anyone else for SAP? Otherwise, we start. This will be the last round of SAP. All right, are we gonna start with SAP? Last round. Anyone else? OG did an accidental, like it was a mistype. No, what was that? No, just look in the, how OG spelled like. The K was, there was an extra K put in there by mistake. Accidental anti-Semitism. It's fine, it was clearly a typo. No, it was a typo, it was a typo. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. It's already sorted, it's already sorted. Not OG? What happened? Yes, it was OG. Oh, okay. Oh, communist songs, let's go. Okay, I'm gonna start. The glamorous lollygags. Let's go, okay. Nothing if you ain't been caught a red. Done nothing if you ain't been called a red. So good, I love that. Never heard it before. Thank you for sharing, whoever posted that. That was great. Ain't been doing nothing if you ain't been called a red. Ooh. I might be doing some plates up later. Or we could do it after this if orders don't. Jason's down, I'm asking Volo. OG, let me know what Volo says. Because I have no idea. I'm not listening. Oh shit, I need to play. Oh god, okay. There we go. Whew. Oh, okay, cool. Cool, cool. No worries, no worries. Um... I don't know if I want that though. Fuck it. Funky game later? Maybe. We'll see. So much to do. So little time to stream, you know? Holy moly, okay, I'm surviving. I know what I'll do next. Beaver in front. Then Giraffe gets Beaver stats. Sell Beaver. Palestinian hip-hop. Let's go. I was close. Damn, okay. Scootbeat, thank you for the follow. Oh, I should have got this. Fuck. Okay, OG. It's just over for me, like, let's be real. Oh, I know this song. Hmm. Well done, OG. You ruined it. You did it. You owned me. In the marketplace of ideas. Okay. I'm not gonna spectate the rest. Alright.